Hello from sunny Vancouver. I am on the West Coast today, so I am talking to you from beautiful Northwest. I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia today in this very purple hotel room of mine. And welcome to Trading Tuesday. Happy to have you guys here this week. Today is a fun topic because today we're going to talk about how to say no and how many wonderfully different ways we can say no. And there's a lot of them. So, I'm wondering when the last time is that you actually either said no or didn't say no and wish that you had. Didn't say no but wish that you had. That is unfortunately a very common scenario for a lot of us, that we feel the need to, well, I wrote people please, right? If you saw the little teaser for it, I said you people please much, because that really was what it is. We don't say no because we don't want to let people down, we don't want to hurt their feelings, right? There's a zillion reasons. But the challenge is that when we don't understand how to set this boundary and we don't practice setting this boundary, we never get any of our own stuff done. We don't make progress towards our goals. We don't make progress towards our vision. We don't make progress really towards anything because we are too busy doing all the things that everybody else has asked us to do. And the feeling that we get when we say yes and then it's something we didn't really want to do erodes at us. Right? Because what happens when we commit to something that we don't really want to do? We feel resentment, irritation, anger, frustration. We might feel tired. And so we build up all this resentment. And that eats away at your soul. It does. So, hey, Joyce, happy Valentine's Day. You know, I should have thought of that, right? When I was planning out what we'd talk about this week. That's how far away my head is from it, right? I didn't connect, right? I'm going to do that on Tuesday the 14th with, right, that's Valentine's Day. Probably would have been a good day to do like the love languages topic or communication with the opposite sex. And so I'll make it up to you guys. I promise. We'll do one of those in another day. Well, I've done the love languages ones before, so if you want that training, just ask me for it. But yeah, I should have probably done something a little more heart related. But you know what? You know what? We're going to make this Valentine's Day about self love. And self love means the ability to say no. That's my save, okay, for Valentine's Days. Today's Valentine's Day theme is about self love, and self love is our ability to actually say no to other people. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We're going with that. So it's good to see you, Joyce. So today we are going to talk about saying no, how to say no, how many ways there are to say no, and hopefully out of this you get a little bit of knowledge and skill that will help you finagle a happier, not just a happier Valentine's Day, but just happier days for you, right? Saying no is a boundary setting skill. And it's probably one of the most important ones, but saying no is how we set a boundary. So, if you are joining for the first time, and for those of you who don't know me, my name is Natalie Hahn. I am CEO of Dirty Girls Consulting, and welcome to Training Tuesday and our group, Accelerating Leadership for Professional Women, where we talk each week about building confidence and increasing our leadership skills, talking about how we do take steps to accelerate our career, to own our lives, as I've been talking a lot about lately, right? How do we become CEO of our life and CFO, managing money? So welcome to Training Tuesday. I always ask that whether you're live or watching the replay, say hello in the chat, say where you're from, ask questions, make comments. That's what it's for. This particular format allows me to talk at you, but I can read your comments both live and after the fact as well, so that we can have a dialogue and we can help you move a little closer to achieving your goals. So Joyce, how to say no so you can say yes to your loved ones? Yeah. Well, and that is the point of saying no, right? Is when we say no, we're establishing boundaries because no allows us to say yes to something else. This is what happens. We are so concerned. We and we're trained. We are raised and trained this way to be so concerned about what other people think. We're so concerned about letting someone down, about disappointing somebody, about not meeting expectations, that if we don't do what we're told, we're going to be not liked, not a team player, we'll be talked about, we'll be judged, right? There's all this baggage that comes with the concept of saying no. And so we don't say it. We don't say no because it's too hard. It's too hard. There are consequences. And what we don't realize is a lot of the consequences are actually here in our own head because we're so used to this pattern. We are so used to the pattern of saying yes. Because the yes pattern, the good girl pattern where we say yes to everything, has gotten us fairly far, right? Saying yes and doing all the things has gotten us liked. It's gotten us friends. It's gotten our parents' approval, our teachers' approval, our boss's approval. It's gotten us boyfriends and partners. It's gotten us into relationships. It's probably gotten us a little bit out of relationships, but that's what this pattern of saying yes has done for us. But what it hasn't done for us is it hasn't, when it's a habitual pattern and not a conscious choice, saying yes doesn't allow us to actually own our destiny. It doesn't allow us to control and manage our time and our energy so that we can create the life that we want, so that we can build our career in the direction that we want. When we say yes all the time, we are literally giving up our power to what everybody else wants from us. And we don't own it. We don't own it. So when we say yes all the time, what we're actually saying is no to ourselves. And when we say no to others and set that boundary, what we're saying yes to is creating more conscious choice for how we spend our time and how we spend our energy. And our time and our energy are limited resources. They're limited. This is why when we're working so hard in our careers and we're trying to say yes to our boss and yes to our coworkers and we're trying to do all the projects and do all the things, what happens? We get so tired and so burnt out. And we're cranky. We're cranky. We're cranky, we're exhausted. It starts eroding at our productivity. It starts eroding at our sense of peace, our self-confidence, and it just drains us completely. So it takes us to a not happy and not healthy place. Now, if you are ready to say no, there are some rules. There are some rules you need to follow for saying no to actually be an effective tool for you. Because we can say we're going to say no, but if we don't actually follow these rules, it doesn't work. The saying no doesn't work because then we don't actually do it. So rule number 1 is you actually have to say it. You have to say it and you have to be clear. Remember what Brené Brown says, and you hear me quote this all the time. Clear is kind. And clear is kind. So you have to say no, and you don't beat around the bush. You don't offer a whole bunch of excuses or hem and haw, because trust me, if you try to make it softer and if you try to make a bunch of excuses, what you're doing is you're opening the door for the other person to poke a hole in it and say, oh, but you can because. Oh, is that your problem? We can fix that, and then you can still do this. When what you actually meant was no. Just no. So no excuses, no beating around the bush, and you have to say the word no. The word no by itself is incredibly powerful, and we need to learn to use it. So that's rule number 1. The less the said, the better, and don't delay, don't stall. The longer you wait to say no, the harder it is, and the more you look like you're backing out and not simply laying a boundary. Rule number 2, you can be assertive and courteous at the same time. At the same time. You can say, I'm sorry, I can't do this right now. I'll let you know, though, if anything changes. That puts you in the power seat of, I will decide if and when I am free to do the thing. But you said the words, I can't right now. I can't. I'm not going to. The whole point of saying no and being courteous and kind is taking charge so that you're owning your time and your energy. You could say, I appreciate you asking me, but I can't. And you really don't have to say more than that. So courteous and kind. No doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be in their face, but it does have to be clear. Rule number 3, it is helpful. It's not really a rule, these are guidelines. It is helpful if you can understand other people's tactics. And what I mean is by this is salespeople in particular are very good at this. And it's their job. So that's not a criticism. It's their job. It's their job to get around the no. How many times have you been in a conversation with a salesperson or even, you know what, even someone for donations, right? Somebody's looking for a donation. They're representing a charity, and you may even love the charity. But they come to you and they say, we're looking for donations, and most of the people in your neighborhood are giving about $50. So what can I sign you up for? They didn't even ask you a yes or no question, did they? They said, your peers, peer pressure, your neighbors, they've already given me money. You're not going to not give me money, right? Because your neighbors have given you money. It's a sales tactic. And it's very effective because you don't want to be that neighbor who didn't donate to the really great cause. Same thing in sales. In sales, the technique often is, if they want to secure a meeting with you, right, is I'm available Tuesday at 10 a.m. or 1:30. What works for you? They didn't ask you if you wanted a meeting. They gave you 2 other options. And we're so accustomed to just answering the question that's put to us that we don't stop and go, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want to meet with you at all. And I already gave to your charity last month, so I'm not going to do that again this month. They catch us in a rhythm where we're so used to saying yes, and we just keep saying yes. So when you understand the tactics that are being used, right, if you can step back a little bit and listen to what's being asked of you, it gives you an opportunity to step back and go, oh, I'm not ready to donate at this time. Or I don't want to. I can't make that meeting. Not in my best interest right now. Lots of ways to say no. All right, guideline number 4. You can put the question back on the person asking. And this is really effective when we're talking about a boss or a peer, mostly a boss or someone at a senior level who's saying to you, I need you to do this thing. I have one more thing I'm going to throw on your plate. And this is where prioritization becomes important, because the best thing you can say is, I would love to tackle that for you, but I have these 3 other projects. So if I take this one on, which project drops to the bottom of my list? Because that one's going to be late. So you can put it back, if it's not necessarily a no, but it's more of a holy cow, I can't get this done. I literally don't have the resources to get this done. If the other person's going to ask you to do it, then they can be accountable for what's not going to happen if you were to say yes. So you could make it a conversation. Guideline number 4, be selfish. Be selfish. You are the only person who will. We get so frustrated and we get angry at other people. We genuinely get angry at other people because they don't put our needs first. We do. We get mad at other people for not putting our needs first. And yet, we don't put our needs first. We don't. We don't model it for them. We don't show them what that looks like. We don't give them any reason to think it's important. If we aren't modeling for the rest of the world what's important to us, how we expect to be treated, what our boundaries are, why are we expecting the world to intuitively know and then honor it? But we do, we get mad. And oftentimes we'll get mad at partners for not honoring our boundaries or not knowing, when if we thought about it, we were never clear. Remember what I said first? What was the first rule, first guideline was say the word no. if we didn't clearly establish this boundary, if we didn't clearly establish this is a no-go zone, we expected them to infer it. And that's kind of a burden to put on other people, to infer from all of our conversations what's in our zone or not in our zone. So be selfish about it so that you don't have that buildup of resentment. You don't have those misunderstandings. You're not expecting other people to read your mind or know where you're at. I love this quote by Warren Buffett, right? Self-made millionaire. But Warren Buffett said, the difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. Very successful people are very particular with how they spend their time and energy. They stay focused on their goals. They stay focused on what's important to them. They're selfish. They're selfish when it comes to how they are going to achieve what they want out of their life. And that's really what no is, right? I love what Joyce said, because you say no so that you can say yes to other things. If I don't say no to some of these things, I will never have the time or the energy to do the things that I need to do for me. If I keep saying yes to all the things, I never get the bubble bath. I never get to go to the gym. I never get to do my hair or go get a manicure. I never get to just spend a day watching Netflix and eating bonbons. We don't get any of the things that we want. I don't get to build my empire and take over the world. I don't get to run for political office. I don't get to start my charitable foundation. When we are too busy saying yes to what everybody wants from us, we are saying no to ourselves. So when you say no, you say yes to yourself. And I must have said that like a dozen times already, but like that is the story tonight. And I'm going to give you a bunch of different ways to say no that you can practice, because saying no is also a personal style, right? There's a way we like to say no. So I'm going to give you some examples, different situations where you might say no. And I would love for you to drop in the comments if you have a way of saying no. What would you say? For example, how would you say no to an invitation to an event you didn't want to go to? Drop it in the chat for me. If somebody came to you and said, I have this event I want you to go to, how would you say no? Because you just don't want to go, right? Aunt Janice has invited us for tea on Saturday. And Aunt Janice is a cranky old lady. She's hovering 80. She's a bit of a gossip, and she's really passive aggressive with the comments. Like every woman should be married and having babies, and we shouldn't be working so hard, and if you're divorced, it's even that much worse. And she's pretty nasty with those comments, but she throws them in the conversation in a tee-hee kind of subtle passive aggressive way. And she's invited you to tea, and her friends are coming. How do you say no? Because we're natural people pleasers, and Aunt Janice is old, and she may not have a lot of time left on this earth, and we should probably go out of some sort of family duty. And to be nice, because Aunt Janice is mean, but she's also maybe a little bit lonely. We rationalize everything. How do you say no? How do you say no to the offer for the holiday party, right? The holiday party where all the neighbors are getting together and you really just don't feel like it. So you could say things like, I appreciate the offer, but I can't. I'd love to, but I don't have time. Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't. That's very kind, but I'm not available. I have plans. I'm flattered that you thought of me, but unfortunately I can't make it. Hope you have fun. It's very kind. That's like 6 or 7 ways I just gave you right there of saying no. What do you got, Joyce? Joyce has, I have so much going on right now. I wouldn't want to ruin tea for everyone. Yeah, absolutely. And here's the deal. You can always just say no. Thanks for the invitation, Aunt Janice, but no thanks. We don't have to tell her a thing. We don't have to tell her a thing, because here's the deal, right? When we say something like, I'm completely booked, I'm sorry, I can't, or I have so much going on right now, like Joyce said, I can't, I'm terribly busy, she might poke. Well, what are you busy with? What's going on that you don't have time to have tea with your good old Aunt Janice? Right? And because when we give them our excuses, when we give them our reasons, some of the more aggressive types will poke. You don't owe anybody. You do not owe anybody your reasons for saying no. If you want to give them, you can give them, but you do not owe it. You do not. Your boundaries are yours. They are not yours to have to explain or defend or justify to anyone else. So when Aunt Janice says, what are you so busy with? What do you have already planned that day? You can just say, I just have a lot of things going on. It's lovely talking to you, Aunt Janice. I will catch you another time. Which can be very hard to do. But trust me, you feel so liberated once you do, right? And thanks. Maybe I'll make tea next week. That sounds great, but I can't. Then there's the no that we say when we just don't have the time, right? Maybe you are at that place where all your energy and all your time is already given to the projects on your plate. Your life is already full. And somebody is asking for that one more thing, right? I mentioned earlier, your boss is trying to put one more thing on your plate. Your neighbor wants you to help them move, right? It's something when you don't have the time. How do you say no to that? How do you say no? And again, share. Thank you for sharing, Joyce. If you guys have more, share in the chat. But because you can say things like Joyce just said, I have so much going on right now, I really can't. I'm just so swamped. I'm really buckling down on my priorities. I can't make time for this. It's not feasible for me to take this on right now. There's too much on my plate. I'm afraid my bandwidth is low, so I can't make this happen. I'm not taking on new things right now, maybe another time. I don't have any openings in my schedule. Like the list of how we say no goes on and on. We can think of a lot of ways. Practice a couple of ways that feel comfortable for you. Your language, phrases that work for you, that are non-committal in terms of excuses and 100% committal in terms of I just said no. That's what you want to practice. And this is the place where if it's a choice, it's I can't help you with that while these three things are my main focus right now. If you would like me to move one of these three things off of my priority list, then I could take this other project on. That's how we negotiate respectfully and in a healthy way with our bosses, with leaders who are looking to us to do something. Joyce, you have preempted my next one, right? When is it just not a good fit for you? It's not interesting to you or not a good fit, and that is exactly right. This doesn't sound like it's a great fit for me. Someone else might be better. And if you even know who that someone else is, you can suggest it. Sorry, Joe, I can't help you with your move this weekend, and I've hurt my back, so I'm actually not the best person to ask, but I heard George down the street. He should be free. He's strong, he's young, right? You could always suggest someone else. So when it's not interesting to you, or it's just not a good fit for you, that is a great phrase. I can't do this justice right now. This is not the right fit for me. I don't think I'm the right person for that. Here's someone who is. If it's not interesting to you, you really can just say, pardon me, you really can just say, that doesn't work for me. No, thank you. That's interesting, but that's really not my thing. And no's for any reason at all. No's for any reason at all. I'm afraid I can't. I'm afraid that doesn't work. No thanks, I won't be able to. Unfortunately, This doesn't work. It's not a good time. I'm afraid I'll need to bow out of this one. I can't. No. Right? There's a million. I have a list of 50. I have a list of 50 ways to say no that I will be happy to share with you guys if you want it. I'm going to have you drop the phrase, just say no. Great ad slogan, right? Just say no in the comments if you would like the list of 50 ways to just say no. And those are, like I said, there's more than 50 ways, but it's really just phrasing. It's phrasing that keeps the no clear, right? The intent is clear and the language is polite. Because there is no reason for us to ever have to be nasty when we say no. Even if it's somebody who you're like, they should know better. They should have, why did they even think to ask me? They should totally know better. There's no reason why we still can't respond with a sweet and polite, I'm afraid that doesn't work for me, but good luck to you, right? Here's the thing though, to make no work for you, other than the guidelines I gave you above, right? Which is you've got to be clear. You've got to be clear about it. Other than that, there's a few more things. Joyce, I never counted in his song, Joyce. Did he never get up to 50? Slacker. We could get up to 50. We could brainstorm 50 ways to leave your lover. We could totally brainstorm that. So, how do you make no work for you? You have to know, K-N-O-W, your priorities. If you do not know your priorities, you will find it much harder to say no. And more than knowing your priority list, more than knowing what's really super important to you, is knowing how you feel. How you feel when you make choices that align with your priorities. Because that's what we're going for. We feel so good when we make a choice that has us in alignment with who we are, with what we want, and we feel like it's bringing us closer to our goals. That feels fantastic. It's when we say yes to the things that are wasting our time, draining our energy, we don't really want to do, we don't really care about the outcome. Those are the things that have us going, oh, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do, why did I say yes? Why did I say yes? I was trying to be nice and now I'm paying for it. And you are. You are paying for it. It is costing you real energy, real time, real money, and real progress towards your goals. So know what your priorities are and then remember, what does it feel like when I'm in alignment with my priorities? Because that is our motivation for saying no. If we don't get to the motivation, we don't put up the boundary. Your motivation is, how does it feel to get closer to your goal? What does it mean to you to get closer to your goals? Now, the other way to make no work for you, we have to remove the word should out of our vocabulary. When we use the word should, we are casting a judgment that goes in line with the voice in our heads that says you would be a better girlfriend, a better employee, a better mother, a better daughter, a better coworker, a better boss. You would be these things if you did X. So the voice in your head says you should do that. You should do that because if you were a good coworker, you would. You should do that. You should take on that tea with Aunt Janice because that's what a good niece does. And your mother will be so happy. And Aunt Janice is never happy, but she'll be pleased, right? You should say yes to going to that company party because politically it'll look good for me even though it's not required. Can you think of better things to do with your time? And really, are the executives counting who's showing up at the party? You know, what kind of politics do you want to play? Is that where you want to spend your political currency at work? So take the word should out of your vocabulary because should makes us do things that our gremlin voice wants us to do, but don't actually help us. Also, remember, you owe nobody an explanation. Do not explain. Do not explain your reasons why you don't owe them to anybody. Except yourself. Accept yourself. Otherwise, you're going to end up defensive. You're going to end up rationalizing. And then just to get the other person to stop, you'll end up saying yes. Yes to something that you actually want to say no to. So don't over explain, don't create that opening. And finally, for no to work for you, you have to believe in it. You have to believe that you deserve the no. You deserve the boundary that says, I don't have to spend my time on this. This isn't important to me. This isn't my priority. This isn't in alignment with where I want to go, where I want to be, or what I want to be doing with my time. But you have to believe that you deserve that. If we're constantly on this hamster wheel of believing that we have to prove to everybody else how great we are, how nice we are, how generous we are, how smart we are, if we're always proving that, we never say no. Because if we say no, we stop proving. But you deserve to say no because you really don't have to prove anymore that you're nice, that you're generous, that you're smart, that you're capable. We know that about you already. We know that. No is the only way you create the boundaries to really own your time and your energy. And yes, 100% Joyce, no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. You know, we should start that in the group. We should start a comment thing in the group, a post in the group of 50 ways to leave your lover. And let's see if between, like, there's 1,500 women in this group, right? Between the 1,500 of us, could we find 50 ways to leave our lover? I think we could. I totally think we could. I'm going to think we should do that. That's a great Valentine's Day challenge, right? 50 ways to leave your lover and just say no. My themes for Valentine's Day are on fire, aren't they? All right. If you would like the handout, I did do a cheat sheet. If you'd like the cheat sheet of 50 ways to say no, then I'm going to say just drop the phrase just say no in the comments, and I will shoot that your way. But otherwise, that's what I wanted to focus on tonight, was there are a million ways we can say no clearly and with kindness that allows us to set our boundaries. So I have the cheat sheet for you if you want it. But in the meantime, practice. Think of the different ways that you can set that boundary with kindness, with professionalism, with compassion, and with assertiveness, so that you're clear and kind and able to free up your time to focus on the things that you want to achieve. So just say no. Just say no. Say it in the comments. I'll send you the cheat sheet. In the meantime, if you would like help and practice on how to just say no, if that is one of the challenges you have, or you're looking at what other boundaries you need to set, drop the word dig in the comments, and we will set up a short free coaching call for us to work on you getting a little bit closer to your goals. That's the word dig if you'd like to have a free coaching call, and just say no if you'd like the cheat sheet. So thank you for joining me tonight. I hope this was fun. I just thought it would be a fun topic. Like I said, I should have paired it better. Valentine's Day, day of self-love, self-care, just say no. And you guys have a fabulous rest of your evening. I will see you next week for Training Tuesday.